What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy JJ back again. I know it's been a fat minute since I've been on here, but I just kind of wanted to talk about like an overall mindset, especially going in to the end of this year, right? Because let's be real, it's what? September. It's almost the end of September already, right? So all we have is October, November, and December left. We got 3 months of 2024. And I was doing some reflecting the other day, and I was kind of like, okay, well, did I do everything I wanted to do this year in terms of my goals? And I'm kind of 50-50 on it, right? Because a lot of things changed and a lot of things didn't go according to plan, but a lot of things worked out, right? And I think the key takeaway is you have to prepare for the unexpected, but at the same time, you also have to make sure you're acting upon your goals and your plans. And so that's why I think it's crucial to not get part of this corny trend and just go, yeah, winter arc. Bro, it's not about the winter arc, right? Don't get me wrong, like, yeah, it's a fun trend, whatever, da-da-da-da. Bro, it doesn't matter what season of the year it is. You don't need weather to tell you what you need to do. You need to lock in regardless. And I'm saying this also in my own experience, because there's days I get up and I'm not doing what I should be doing. You know, I'm not dialing enough. I'm not taking enough calls. Whatever it is, right? You can always be doing more. And that's the key takeaway that you have to have. You don't need to wait for an event to happen. And then what's going to happen is, to the people that just let winter's arc go right by them, what they're going to do is they're going to be like, okay, fine. Let's just wait till 2025. And then what's going to happen is then from there, they'll be like, oh, fine. Okay, well, I'll just wait till summer. And then summer steams around and fine, we'll wait till the winter arc again. And it's the same cycle over and over and over. It's like, oh, 2024 is my year, 2025 is my year, 2026 my year, 2020. Like, bro, you've been saying this for quite some time already. Like, when are things gonna change? And what I've noticed in these past few years, just in business in general, is things don't change unless you do, right? If you know, and like I said, I've talked about this many times, you can start. However, I started with little to no money, bro, with the car washing business. I did that. I grinded it out in the hot ass Florida summers. Now there's literally a hurricane outside, which is great. But, you know, I was doing that for like 2 years straight. And then I did windows, and you have to put yourself out there. It doesn't matter what you're doing. Every business model works. Drop shipping, SMMA, sales, crypto, day trading, you name it, anything works. You just have to stick to it long enough. Because look at what everybody's doing right now. Everybody's planning for the holidays. Everybody's saying, oh, winter arc, winter arc, winter arc. But in reality, they're not really doing anything. I mean, we're like, what, 9-10 months through the year? Most people are already waiting for next year, which is why I think it is absolutely crucial to get started now and start building that momentum. Because let's say, right, let's hypothetically say you waited until everybody else started at the same time as you, right? Let's say everybody started January 1st, ready? January 1st, 2025. You don't have a competitive advantage at all. Sure, a lot of people are going to fall off a few weeks in, and then a month, 2 months, a lot of people are going to fall off, right? That's a guarantee. But the problem is, those few people that are staying might have an advantage over you because you were too lazy to start a few months before. So it doesn't matter if it's business, if it's fitness, anything, start now. There's no point in waiting for a time or a season or a trend to happen for you to take accountability into your life. So what I want to do is bring on one of my buddies. Also, he'll be able to put in some insight, and yeah, man, we're all in this together. So as you guys know, I like to document the journey, and I know I haven't been on here in a hot minute. So what I'm gonna do is bring on a guest that you guys have seen before, Joel Tope. I'll turn the camera around here in a second, and yeah, just ask him some questions, bring some insight, so that way we can all get better. Let's get it.
What's up, guys? My name is Joel, right? You guys should probably kind of already know who I am just from Jaden's channel. You guys have probably seen me on some of his videos and stuff like that. But yeah, like I just want to kind of like pick up where Jaden left off, right? Like he's kind of telling you guys, like, you guys have probably been saying this shit for a while, saying that you guys want to, this year is going to be the year, right? And then every year is this year, it's this summer, right? It's this winter, what's going to be nice? It's this 2025, like, you're not going to see results if you actually don't put the time in to make the change happen, right? It doesn't matter. Like, you're not going to get this random boost of motivation. That's not how it works, right? The only time you're going to see the results is when you're sitting down, you're doing the hard work, even though you don't like it, and you're forcing yourself to become uncomfortable, because that's when you're going to actually allow yourself to grow, and you're going to actually get the results you're looking for. Like, quote Alex Hormozi said, the results you're looking for isn't the work you're avoiding to do, okay? So if you see yourself avoiding to do work, chances are that's the results you're looking for. You need to be doing that work that you don't want to do.
Yeah, that's facts, bro. Appreciate you spitting some sauce there. And I guess a lot of people, Joel, would ask, like, okay, well, that's cool and all, but like, how do I get started, and then how do I stay consistent with it, right? Because I think that's the hardest thing for most people.
Yeah, I mean that's true, bro. Like even like when I first started off, I was just kind of like doing it just because I thought I wanted to do it. I didn't know why I wanted to do it, right? So a big reason I think a lot of people have to figure out is, what is your why? Like, why do you actually want to do it? Because your why is going to be the reason that keeps pushing you. And if your why isn't big enough, chances are you're going to quit. Like most people, for example, they'll start a business and then they'll quit a month after, 2 months after, because they really realistically, they don't have a big why to actually keep them pushing, right? So for example, like my why has been just, I rather would, like, I genuinely cannot see myself doing anything other than what I'm doing right now, because if I did, I would literally hate my life. So like this is literally the only option I have, is I have to go 100% in. So if you guys don't have a why that big that you literally have to do it, or else you can't see yourself even living, chances are you're in the wrong game, bro. And you got to ask yourself, what reasons are you doing it for? If you're doing it for the money, chances are you're not going to stay consistent with it, because I mean there's a lot of other things that you can do for money. So yeah, like I think you just got to figure out your why and make sure that your why is actually big enough to allow you to keep going.
Yeah, that's facts, bro. I agree with that 100%. And I think that's honestly why both me and you had like that shiny object syndrome when we first started, bro. I mean, like, dude, we'd go from dropshipping to SMMA to dropshipping to SMMA, and then this and then that, and then it's like, bro, like you can't even stay consistent to one thing, right? And I think that's a lot of people's biggest problem is like they see the online business space, they see people making money, they think it's easy, they get into it and they get humbled real quick.
Yeah.
So what would you say, in your opinion, is the best mindset of going into embracing something like this? Because let's be real, honestly, sometimes like the day-to-day jobs that people work are harder than what we do, but it's not as, okay, how do I word this? Because it's like, it's easier, but it's harder at the same time. The labor might be harder, right? But you have somebody telling you what to do, when to do it. All you have to do is follow instructions, and you already know what you're gonna make, everything like that. Like it's more safe, right? There's more of a comfort zone. Here you have to be your own boss, and some people are like, oh yeah, that's such a good thing. Well, guess what, bro? There's days you're gonna wake up and you are not gonna want to do it. There's days you're gonna be like, nope, I'm not calling anybody, I'm not doing anything, and the only person that's gonna hurt is yourself, right? So what would you say is the ultimate mindset to get past that and realize like, hey, this is something that I need to do like on my own?
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, I think that's honestly one of the things I hate, but also love about entrepreneurship, is that, you have the ability to control what you do. And I think people don't realize, especially when you get into entrepreneurship, how deep it actually goes. Like, if you genuinely actually want to succeed in entrepreneurship, it's not going to be just making money online. Like, it's not that easy. Like, you genuinely have to force yourself to become a completely different person if you want to make that 10, 20, whatever that number is. It's going to take a big personal change in just yourself. Like, for example, if you're the type of person that's laying down all day, you're not doing the work, you're not, forcing yourself to do difficult things, you're not going to hit 10K a month. It doesn't matter how good you are or whatever. It doesn't matter how much you're reading books, how much you're studying. If you're not going to do the work and you're not the person that's able to do stuff for a long period of time, you're not going to get the results, right? So I think it just comes down to being able to enjoy the process and not the result. Because if you're just too focused on the result and every day you're just focused on when am I going to get the result, when am I going to get the result, that's something that you can't control. You don't know when it's going to happen. Like you can do the inputs every single day to get the result, but you can't control what happens, right? So I think it's just instead of getting your dopamine from getting the result, get your dopamine from doing the process and doing what it takes to get the result. Because if you can enjoy just genuinely doing all the steps it takes every single day to get to the goal, getting to the goal is going to be easy because you're not focused on the goal.
Agreed, bro. I agree with that fully because, like, let's put this in the reality here, right? Let's say you go to the gym, okay, and you do some hard ass workout, okay. Sure, you get a cool pump and everything, but you feel good walking out of that place knowing you did something hard, right? Yeah, you might walk out, look in the mirror, and be like, yeah, the pump's good, but you're more happy with the fact that you did something, right? And you were productive. And I think everybody actually feels that feeling once they are productive. You know, whether it's in school, you turn in that assignment, whether it's at your job, you do something for your boss, whether it's in business, you make X amount, right? Like there's a certain gratification that comes with being productive into something. And
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing is just taking that first initial step, and as you said, just loving the process, right? Because if you hate what you're doing, I mean, you can make all the money in the world, bro. Like that's cool, but I don't know if that's really gonna help you out in the long run, right? And
Yeah.
and it's like, some people are like, oh, we'll go practicality over passion and vice versa. I think it just depends. Obviously, if you can make as much money as possible and doing something that isn't really your dream thing, that's okay. But just try to see the joy in the things, right? Like I mean, look at the people who run landfills, right? I'm sure they're not passionate about garbage, but look, I mean, it's making them good money, and I'm sure that there's days where they're grateful for it, and they look for the positive in it, and that's honestly what you have to do, right? But
Yeah.
you can't just pick any random business model. I would say look at your skill sets, look at what you're capable of, see what you like, and it doesn't hurt to dip your toes in different waters and see what you like and don't like, right? I mean, Joel, I don't know about you, but I'm pretty sure like when we were doing dropshipping for a few months and then SMMA, we kind of got a pretty good overall like feeling of what we liked and didn't like. And it's funny, I know I know you can attest to this, but I always hated sales calls. I cannot even do a cold call for the life of
Right.
me. And now look, I'm doing sales, right? So it's one of those things. It's like you can be closed minded or you can be open minded. So
Yeah, exactly. And I would say the same thing with me is like, you know, like when I first started in the SMMA space, agency space, I didn't know what the whole info space was or anything about, you know, growth operating, anything like that. I didn't know what that was. And naturally now that's what I'm doing. And it's almost like I have the same skill, like took some of the same skill sets that I learned running my agency and I'm applying it now. Of course, I've learned a lot more skill sets, but like you can't be afraid of just you can't be open to new opportunities because you never know what's going to happen. And what you're doing right now might not end up being what you're doing in a year. Like I don't know what I might be doing in a year. I don't know if you think maybe in a year you might not even be doing sales. Like who genuinely knows, right? So you just have to be willing to accept where you're going and just honestly just let yourself, you know, kind of just be open to opportunities.
yeah, that's facts, bro. Like 100%. And what would you say to the people that are just starting out? What's one thing that you could leave them off with?
Honestly, guys, the biggest thing I'm going to leave you guys off with today is if you're just starting out, of course, bro, you need to I would say, focus on the process, bro. Because shit is not going to come easy. Like, been in the game now for second year, coming up on third year.
But it's
as
worth
being
it.
an entrepreneur. And, bro, I feel like I still haven't done shit. I haven't accomplished shit. I haven't learned shit. Like, even though I know I've learned a lot from the last 3 years, but there's so much more to go. So if you guys think this is something that you're going to come in 6 months, 5 months, get results, it's not how it's going to be at all. I
Yeah.
would say you guys need to increase your time frame. Of course, like being entrepreneurs, we want to get everything done so quickly. We want to have things done in the next 2 weeks, 3 months, whatever it is. But when you actually allow yourself to have a further time frame to do stuff, it's easier to hit the goal because it's just an easier goal to hit. Like, for example, if you say, I want to land on an offer by the end of this week, right? And I have to, right? Or you say, you know what? I'm going to land on the offer by the end of this month. It's gonna be a lot. Like in your mind, you're gonna be like, oh, I have a month to do this. I can genuinely do this, and you have like you can actually build a good plan out, right?
Right.
But if you guys just get like you guys are forcing yourself to do stuff too quickly, and you guys are just honestly just hopping from business model to business model, stick to one thing, bro. Everything works. Sales works. SMA still works. Ecom works. Amazon, everything works, bro. You just gotta focus, pick one skill, become the best at what you do, and you're gonna make money. It's that simple.
Yeah.
So
That's 100% right, bro. And I agree. I don't think you have to be patient, right? Because Hormozy said it best, right? Most people are going to measure your success based in months, but or even a few years. You got to measure it in decades. It's like you overestimate what you're going to do in a year, but you underestimate what you're going to do in 10 years, right? So you got to be able, I'd say, to really focus on long-term gratification. Don't just look for what's in the short term, right? Because if you do, well, you'll end up like everybody else, because everybody's chasing just that next quick thing, the next get rich quick, the next this, the next that. Oh, I wish I should have done Bitcoin back then. It's like people are living off regrets and the quick gratification things. I think if people took a step back and really like thought about being intentional and figuring out what they want to do and how they're going to do it, I think it'd be a lot easier. Right, because let's be real, Joel, the competition is honestly not that high. We were talking about this earlier today, but like, look at how many people, like, it looks like there's a lot of people in the space, right? There's a lot of people, but look at how many people like are actually in the space.
exactly, and like there's so much people doing it, but there's nobody doing it right. And I think that's the big thing. People, especially people, get really intimidated when they get into the space and business, and they think that it's just super saturated, super competitive. Everybody's doing it, but nobody's doing it right. Only a small amount of people are doing it right. So if you genuinely just put the time in to actually become the best at what you do, you're gonna sweep everybody out the market because nobody genuinely knows what the fuck they're doing. So all you have to do is genuinely figure out how to actually make sure you're the best at what you do, and you're gonna make money, bro. It's gonna come to you.
Yep, 100%, bro. But yeah, Joel, I appreciate you hopping on, spinning some
Of course,
sauce. But yeah,
of course,
hey,
boys.
if y'all don't know about Joel, go follow him on IG. Joel, what's your Insta?
Insta is gonna be Joel Tope, JoelTuopaeh, and then same thing on YouTube as well.
Yes, sir. So go drop him a follow if you're interested in pyramid scheming / growth operating, or anything like that. So,
Of course, bro.
but yeah, Joel, appreciate you,
on,
brother. I'll catch you later, man.
All right, bro.
All right, peace.
Peace.
All right, guys. I hope you found that helpful. That conversation with Joel was awesome. He spit some sauce, and I'd say the biggest takeaway that most people need to walk out with is the fact that like, hey, I need to focus on the process rather than just the result. Because let's imagine it this way, right? Let's say you got the result overnight. Realistically, it's not going to feel the same, right? Because you didn't earn it. It's the same thing in the gym, right? You build a physique. It feels good because you dedicated yourself there for months and you see yourself change over time. It's the same thing in business. It's the same thing in your relationships. It's the same thing with anything else, right? Whether you're playing sports or, any of those things. So some other actionable steps that you could take is I really want you to grab a pen and paper and write down what you're going to do before this year ends, because we only got 3 months left, right? And I know, as I said, so many people are so hyped up on this winter arc, but in reality, so many people are going to fall short, and you don't want this to be like every other year, I'd imagine. And the only way to get past it is you have to commit yourself to actually doing the work. And so the best way to do that is write it down, so that way you can not only express your thoughts, keep it to yourself, but reread it over and over and over again, because you have to have that self-belief. Because if you don't, and you're just like, yeah, I kind of want to do it, I kind of want to get jacked, lose some weight, and I kind of want to make a little bit of money, but like, I'm just too lazy to start the business, you're not going to get there. But if you're writing it down, planning it out, and following that every single day, you'll get there, right? Because most people can't even plan. They just think they can just take action and it'll all work out. And then sometimes there's a rare instance where it does, right? But if you have proper preparation and you're showing up every day, that's where your luck will come in. I see a lot of times, right? People will be like, "Oh, he's so lucky, he's so lucky, he's so lucky," to just anybody, right? They'll be like, "Oh, he's so lucky, he's so lucky, he's so lucky. He had these connections and whatever, blah 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 blah." Like, bro, do you not understand when people are complaining about somebody being in a spot because of objections, or they're like, "Oh, daddy's money this," or whatever the excuse is, they had to position themselves to get there, right? Luck isn't just falling out of the air, it doesn't just spawn in. Luck is made when somebody prepares themselves in a certain way to receive it. And the reason why you haven't been lucky is because you haven't been preparing yourself to receive luck, right? You're sitting around playing video games all day, eating Cheetos. Like, that's not going to get you to where you want to go, right? So the best thing you can do is create a plan, follow it, stay as disciplined as you can, and remember, think of this as a race, right? Because you're gonna have a bunch of New Year's resolutioners come around, and the winter art kids on TikTok. You're gonna have all them around. So, and that's only in a few months. So the question is, do you want to get a head start, or do you want to be left behind?